Hey everybody, welcome back to Semi Stories. Today I'll be reading several posts from r/amidahole, starting with a girl wondering if she's in the wrong for despising her mentally handicapped sister. Yes, the title makes me sound horrible, but hear me out. My sister is severely autistic. She requires attention almost 24/7 and cannot be left alone. She is non-verbal and cannot take care of herself at all. Despite the fact that she's only 12, she is extremely destructive and violent and destroys anything she gets her hands on. And I hate her. That should be wrong to say, but it doesn't feel like it. I was only 6 years old when she was born, and since then I've never solely had my parents' attention. Ever since I can remember, the world has revolved around her. I was moved out of my room into the basement at 7 because she needed to be in the room next to my parents. All of my toys as a child were destroyed by her, and my parents simply ignored me when I complained. Even when I was 14 and she destroyed a Mac my school gave me, I was in the wrong. Along with this, I am expected to take care of her and drop everything I do for her. I can never make plans with friends because my parents expect me to be there if they need me to take care of her. And even if I somehow get some time to myself, I'm required to leave if they need me. If I do not, then I get punished. A recent example of this is when I went to see the new Spider-Man movie and was grounded because I turned my phone off in a theater. It seems as if I'm nothing more than a slave to them, and anything involving her simply overshadows me. This last week I was chosen to give a speech at a school event. I was so excited and my parents promised to be there, but they never showed and claimed it was because of my sister. Anytime anything like this happens for me, they're too busy with her. I've held these feelings in for so long and it finally spilled out today. While talking about colleges with my father, he joked that I should get a degree that pays well so when they're gone I can take care of my sister. I don't know why, but this caused me to completely break down. I cried and screamed about how it was always about her. I'm nothing more than a caretaker to them. That they always make it about her and that I'm expected to be her slave for the rest of my life. I've locked myself in my room since then and my parents have not come to check in on me. Am I the a-hole here? Opie then posted a quick update. After thinking about it for these past hours, you are right that I don't despise my sister. It's not her fault she was born the way she is. My parents came to talk to me after my breakdown, but I was unable to bring myself to talk to them and only cried and asked them to leave. They have made arrangements with my grandfather for me to stay with him for the time being, and I'm getting ready to go to his house. My parents want to talk to me, but we've decided it's best I leave for now to have some space and collect myself. We will be sitting down and talking later this week about this issue. Thank you all again for the love and support through this. I personally agree that OP is definitely not an a-hole in this scenario. I've said it before, but situations like this are tough on everyone involved, not just OP but also the parents. Having said that, I think the apparent obliviousness and the resulting neglect of OP is a major flaw on the part of the parents. I get that taking care of someone with a developmental condition can be extremely hard and unexpected when you have children. But I personally feel that a basic understanding of feelings cannot be that hard, and if it is, you should not be having kids. I can fully sympathize with OP, having gone through a similar situation in my past where for much of my youth I felt like a second place with my parents. My brother also has autism, but is more functional. Despite this, he needed a lot of extra attention from my parents and got this extra attention via fun monthly getaways and special school that helped him and my parents supporting him every step of the way. Stuff that I did not get and pretty much envied. In the end, I also had an outburst, which made my mom realize how I felt. The one thing I still remember her saying was how she knew that I, in the end, would be okay, but she did not know if my brother would be. And if there's one thing I have learned, it's that keeping those emotions bottled up is no good for anybody, especially not yourself. At some point, it's destined to overflow, so it's better to just talk about it. A while later, OP posted the following update. Well, since that day I made the post, I've been staying with my grandfather. The week's been honestly a huge change for me, for better and for worse, but I'll try to run it down. I started by telling my grandpa the story of why I broke down the way I did, and to be honest, he seemed horrified. No one in my family knew my parents were using me as essentially a free care service for my sister. My grandpa told me some things that I don't feel comfortable repeating here, but in essence, my sister is supposed to be getting care from a professional, and that my parents were completely ignoring that. Along with this, I was not supposed to be caring for her at all with her mental state, as apparently she's a danger to herself and others. With everything else I told him, along with stuff like the movie incident, he was really mad and told me not to contact my parents without him there. He pretty much told me that he would be meeting my parents beforehand and that he was going to be there when I sat down with them. It didn't end here either. The rest of the week consisted of other family members checking in and telling me things my parents hid from me. This included the fact that my parents have been taking money from family to fund a caretaker that does not exist. Suffice to say, this week has been rough, but the upside is that even through all of this, my extended family has been giving me more love than I felt in a long while. My grandfather spent this last week making up for the time I've lost, encouraging me to spend time with friends and do things I want to do. My aunts and uncles have also been helping me through the week. Well, Saturday night I sat down with my parents to talk. It went badly, to say the least. They came clean to me about everything. They told me things I will not repeat here, but they did not apologize. My parents still claim that I somehow owed my sister my time, my father even saying, "You were put here to be her caretaker." After everything I learned, I confronted them on the fact that my sister needed a caretaker, the money my dad has been taking for his sister, and a few other things. They denied it or made excuses, and in the end we ended off in a worse place than before. Today will be my last time talking to them for a while. After talking with my grandfather and uncle last night, I'm not going back. Later today I'm going there and picking up my stuff and moving in with my grandfather. When I graduate high school, I'm planning on leaving the state to go to school. My aunt has told me that the money she was sending my dad will instead be coming to me from now on. My parents have called me twice since Saturday. Neither of them were to apologize and only ask when I was coming home. I won't be going back to them. Right now I feel pretty uneasy about everything, but I feel like that will pass. The rest of my family is showing their support to me and honestly it feels great. But in the end I lost my parents. Over all of this I've learned something that I wish I saw earlier. I don't hate my sister. I in fact love her with all my heart. I should never have projected my hate onto her. That was wrong, and someday I hope to make up for it. But for now, I need to leave. Opie then posted a small final update to the story. We just got back from moving my things out of my parents' house. Everything I wanted to take, my grandpa and uncle helped me move, and it's at my grandpa's house now. I have my birth certificate, social security card, and every other document and record I could think of. My parents were quiet the whole time I was there. Shortly after I arrived, my dad left with my sister, and my mom only hovered over us silently as we moved. It took a while, but as we left, she broke down and she told me she loved me and would miss me. I hugged her and said goodbye. And that was it. Even now I sit here and think if she really meant it. After this whole week of her not saying anything, she waited till the end. I hope she meant it. Right now though, I think I just need to look ahead. Maybe one day me and my parents can reconnect. I really hope so. I really hope OP can find some peace and live their life to the fullest. What a godsend their grandpa and extended family turned out to be. This was a tough story and I'm glad it had somewhat of a happy ending. Here's to hoping OP is able to somehow reconnect to their family and keep doing the things a young adult should be able to do. What do you guys think of this whole ordeal? Be sure to let me know down in the comments. In this next story, OP is wondering if he's an a-hole for not telling his wife about his time off. At work, I do a lot of extra stuff. Company party planning, picking up extra shifts, etc. And I get extra PTO as one of the compensations. Due to this, I ended up getting maxed out PTO and I use it regularly. Well, I have a major certificate test next week and wanted to get all of my schoolwork done for the next few weeks and spend a large time studying and doing practice exams in preparations for my test. I took the whole week after Labor Day off in order to do this. I didn't tell my wife because I knew she would start asking me to do other stuff, go places, etc. Despite my intentions for PTO being academically based. I do have kids, and I know I cannot study for 12 hours a day, so I would break it up every few hours and do some stuff with them. Well, my first day was fine because my wife was working and my kids were out of the house, so I was able to complete almost all of my 2 weeks worth of schoolwork. Day 2, my wife starts doing the "you cannot stop studying to play with your son? He wants to go outside, can you take him?" I told her, this is why I didn't mention having PTO, because from your perspective, I'm still working, yet you aren't going to take it that way. She said I'm an a-hole for lying to her. Maybe I am, but I know my wife. She gets on me to do extra stuff while I'm working from home, so if I'm not working, but still studying, I knew she would push it even more. She even does the whole, "you better pass your test" crap. Yeah, it seems to get in the way of my studying unless it's late at night when she's asleep. From my personal perspective, OP is, a little bit of an a-hole. When you're married and have children, they definitely deserve to know when you take time off, especially when it's a whole week. I think it's important to be able to do whatever you want with your personal time off, But to neglect your kid and not even taking him outside for a little bit, come on, bro. You're married, and at this point, you should definitely know how to communicate to each other. Lastly, we got a short story from OP, who wonders if she's the a-hole for not giving her son more allowance even though he's going hungry at practice. I came here because I am annoyed. Maybe I am wrong, but the situation is odd. Everyone in the family gets an allowance. My son, 15, is in swim and he has to be there at 5:45 3 times a week. It's morning practice and then he goes to school. Now, he will usually buy breakfast from the school cafe and then all his money is gone. My daughters don't buy breakfast and will just eat before school or skip, so their allowance is mostly saved or used for the movies or something. My son came to me and asked for more allowance due to being hungry, and I told him no, and that he can eat before or pack something. We got in a huge argument and he thinks I'm a jerk, and now my ex is on my ass about it. I do not think OP is the a-hole. I think this comes down to something else than the money. See, kids don't have the same skills that we as adults take for granted, and I think that OP needs to go and talk to him about scheduling his meals. And personally, I don't think it's just about the meals. I think that time management is a skill that is very important to teach early on. But then again, I am not a parent. Now, I'm curious what you guys think. Do you think OP is in the wrong here? Be sure to let me know down in the comments, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. See ya!